I would love healing with Mary. I would love healing with Janelle. I would love healing with Christine.
The Sister Wives production office just went into full meltdown mode, and the evidence is absolutely everywhere. Fans logging into HBO Max this week got the shock of their lives when they discovered entire episodes from season 20 had simply vanished into thin air. Not delayed, not temporarily unavailable, completely gone, like they never existed in the first place. TLC's own streaming app showed the same mysterious gaps, leaving viewers staring at episode lineups that jumped from episode 3 straight to episode 7 with zero explanation. But here's where it gets interesting. The missing episodes weren't random filler content or recap shows. According to multiple viewer reports flooding social media, these were the heavy-hitting episodes featuring the most explosive family confrontations and behind-the-scenes moments that fans had been waiting all season to see. One Reddit user who managed to catch episode 5 before it disappeared described it as the most authentic Sister Wives content in years, featuring unfiltered reactions and genuine family tension that felt completely unscripted.
I don't want to talk to Cody ever again.
The timing of these disappearances has raised serious red flags among seasoned reality TV watchers. Episodes don't just vanish from streaming platforms without executive-level decisions and legal considerations. Something significant enough to warrant pulling completed, aired content had to have happened behind the scenes. And when you're dealing with a show that's been TLC's steady ratings performer for over a decade, that something had to be absolutely explosive. The fan outrage has been swift and loud. Social media comment sections have turned into digital detective agencies, with viewers comparing screenshots of episode guides and creating spreadsheets to track exactly what content has disappeared and when. The Sister Wives community, known for their dedication and attention to detail, has essentially launched their own investigation into what they're calling the Great Episode Purge of 2024. And that's when the real bombshell leaked. According to insider sources close to production, this isn't just a streaming glitch or routine content management. This is damage control on a scale that has network executives scrambling and cast members reportedly pushing back against demands for extensive reshoots. The missing episodes apparently contained footage so problematic that pulling them entirely seemed like the safer option than letting them stay public.
I said I didn't love you. That wasn't true. I wanted to apologize with all my heart.
We are never, ever, ever getting back together.
The missing episodes weren't just any random content, they were the crown jewels of season 20, the moments that Sister Wives fans had been dissecting and discussing for weeks before they mysteriously disappeared. Episode 5, which multiple viewers managed to screen record before its vanishing act, allegedly contained footage of Janelle confronting Cody with financial documents spread across a kitchen table. Not the usual scripted family meeting setup, but genuine paperwork with real numbers that had Janelle pointing to specific line items and asking pointed questions about where their shared resources had actually gone. Episode 6, according to fan reports, featured Mary in what insiders described as her most unfiltered moment in years, a conversation with Christine that reportedly included details about the family's internal financial arrangements that went far beyond anything previously aired. One viewer who caught it live described Mary as finally saying the quiet parts out loud about how money flowed between the households and who actually controlled the family's business decisions. But here's the kicker. Episode 4, which also vanished, apparently showed behind-the-scenes footage of production meetings where cast members were being coached on how to present certain storylines. According to leaked descriptions, viewers could actually hear producers in the background suggesting specific talking points and emotional responses. For a show that has always maintained the illusion of documentary-style authenticity, this was reality TV's version of showing the man behind the curtain. The streaming platforms didn't just quietly remove these episodes, they restructured the entire season lineup to make the gaps less obvious, renumbering subsequent episodes and adjusting descriptions to maintain continuity. This level of content manipulation requires legal clearances, executive approvals, and significant financial investment. You don't spend that kind of money and effort unless something in those episodes threatened the entire franchise. Multiple HBO Max subscribers reported receiving generic customer service responses when they inquired about the missing content, with representatives claiming technical difficulties and content rotation policies. But seasoned streaming watchers know the difference between routine content management and emergency damage control. When episodes disappear this quickly, someone with serious power made a very expensive decision to protect something much bigger than individual episode content. The real smoking gun? TLC hasn't issued a single official statement about the missing episodes, despite fans flooding their social media channels with direct questions and demands for explanations. That silence isn't just suspicious, it's legally strategic. While fans were discovering the streaming gaps, the Sister Wives production crew was reportedly working around the clock in what insiders are calling crisis mode filmmaking. According to a detailed YouTube expose from TFAX, crew members have been scrambling to shoot what sources describe as redemption footage and damage control scenes specifically designed to replace the content that got pulled from streaming platforms. Picture the chaos. Production teams that thought they had wrapped season 20 suddenly getting emergency calls to mobilize equipment, secure locations, and coordinate with cast members who had already moved on to their post-filming lives. One crew member, speaking anonymously to industry sources, described the atmosphere as like trying to rebuild a house while it's still on fire. The normal post-production timeline got completely thrown out the window as editors worked overtime to create entirely new episode content. But here's where it gets really messy. The replacement scenes aren't just additional footage, they're reportedly complete narrative reconstructions designed to tell different versions of the same family events. Instead of the unfiltered confrontations and genuine financial discussions that apparently appeared in the original episodes, the new footage allegedly shows more sanitized, producer-guided conversations that paint the family dynamics in a much more controlled light. The technical challenges alone are staggering. Matching lighting, wardrobes, and even seasonal backgrounds to create footage that seamlessly replaces scenes filmed months earlier requires the kind of budget and expertise usually reserved for major film reshoots. Production sources suggest that some of the replacement scenes required cast members to recreate conversations in different locations because the original settings were no longer available or appropriate. Industry insiders familiar with reality TV production note that this level of post-filming intervention is extremely rare and expensive. Most reality shows build in buffer content during initial filming specifically to avoid these kinds of emergency situations. When a production team has to essentially create new episodes after the season has already aired, it indicates that whatever appeared in the original footage was deemed too problematic to leave in circulation. The crew members reportedly struggling to coordinate these emergency shoots aren't just dealing with logistical nightmares, they're working under intense pressure to create replacement content that maintains the show's established narrative while completely avoiding whatever topics made the original footage too hot to handle. That's like trying to tell the same story while pretending entire chapters never happened. The replacement filming hit its biggest snag when the cast members themselves reportedly started pushing back. According to Reddit discussions that have compiled multiple insider leaks, both Janelle and Mary allegedly drew hard lines about what they would and wouldn't participate in during these emergency reshoots. The issue wasn't just about scheduling conflicts or additional work. It was about being asked to essentially lie on camera about conversations and events that had already been documented in the original footage. Sources close to the situation claim that Janelle, who has built her post-Cody reputation on financial transparency and straight talk, refused to participate in replacement scenes that would soften or contradict the financial discussions she had engaged in during the original filming. One leaked conversation allegedly involved Janelle telling producers that she wasn't going to pretend those numbers don't exist, just to make the family dynamics appear less contentious than they actually were. Mary's reported resistance was even more dramatic. After spending years rebuilding her public image and establishing herself as an independent voice within the Sister Wives narrative, she allegedly threatened to walk away from the show entirely, rather than participate in scenes designed to make her appear more compliant or less informed about family business matters than she actually was. Industry sources suggest that Mary's ultimatum wasn't just about the replacement scenes, it was about maintaining the authentic voice she had finally found after years of heavily produced content. The standoff created a domino effect throughout production. When two of your key cast members refuse to participate in damage control footage, you can't simply write them out of episodes that are supposed to explain major family developments and financial decisions. The show's entire narrative structure depends on having all the adult family members present for significant conversations and revelations. Production teams found themselves in the impossible position of trying to create replacement content that addressed the same topics as the original footage, while working around cast members who were essentially refusing to play along with revised versions of their own lives. One industry insider familiar with the situation described it as trying to rebuild a puzzle when half the pieces have decided they don't want to fit the new picture. The cast rebellion reportedly wasn't just about individual scenes or conversations. According to leaked information, both Janelle and Mary had been growing increasingly frustrated with what they perceived as attempts to manipulate their storylines throughout season 20, and the demand for replacement footage became the breaking point, where they finally said no to producer control over their authentic experiences. The cast rebellion exposed a much deeper conflict brewing between the show's creative team and TLC's executive leadership over the fundamental direction of Sister Wives. According to industry industry sources, the show's director has reportedly been at odds with TLC's vice president of development about the balance between authentic family documentation and scripted reality TV content. What started as creative differences has apparently escalated into full-scale production warfare. The conflict centers around what insiders are calling the authenticity question. The original Sister Wives episodes that got pulled allegedly contained the kind of unfiltered, genuine family interactions that made the show compelling in its early seasons. But network executives reportedly viewed this raw content as too risky, too legally complicated, and potentially damaging to the carefully crafted family brand that TLC has invested over a decade in building. Behind-the-scenes crew calls that have gone unanswered aren't just scheduling mishaps, they're reportedly the result of the director refusing to participate in what sources describe as narrative sanitization efforts. When your director won't take meetings about how to reframe already filmed content to serve network interests, rather than documentary authenticity, production grinds to a halt regardless of how much money executives are willing to throw at the problem. The leaked tensions reveal a fundamental disagreement about what Sister Wives should be in 2024. The director allegedly pushed for more documentary-style filming that captured genuine family dynamics, financial realities, and authentic personal growth. Network executives, according to sources, preferred maintaining the controlled family drama format that has proven financially successful but requires significant producer intervention and storyline management. Industry observers note that this creative conflict reflects broader changes in reality TV consumption. Audiences, particularly women over 45 who make up Sister Wives' core demographic, have become increasingly sophisticated about recognizing and rejecting obviously manufactured drama. They want authentic family stories, real financial discussions, and genuine personal growth, exactly the kind of content that allegedly appeared in the pulled episodes. The standoff has reportedly created a production environment where crew members are unsure whose creative vision they're supposed to follow. When the director and network executives are pulling in opposite directions and cast members are refusing to participate in content that contradicts their authentic experiences, the entire show's foundation becomes unstable. The missing episodes and emergency reshoots aren't just content problems, they're symptoms of a creative war that threatens the show's future. The production chaos has created a financial nightmare that extends far beyond typical reality TV budgets. Multiple sources suggest that Sister Wives' Season 20 budget was doubled mid-production to cover the extensive overtime, emergency reshoots, and completely unplanned additional filming required to replace the pulled episodes. For a show that traditionally operates on established reality TV economics, this level of unexpected spending represents a massive financial gamble. The overtime costs alone are staggering. Crew members who had completed their contracted Season 20 work suddenly found themselves back on emergency call schedules, with production companies paying premium rates for last-minute availability. Lighting technicians, camera operators, sound engineers, and post-production staff all had to be recalled and compensated at rush job rates to create the replacement content. One industry insider familiar with reality TV budgets estimated that emergency crew costs could easily represent 40 to 50% budget increases before considering any other expenses. But the real money drain came from location scouting and setup costs. The original filming locations where the problematic scenes occurred were reportedly no longer available or suitable for the replacement footage. Production teams had to secure new venues, obtain fresh permits, arrange equipment transportation, and coordinate complex scheduling around cast members' existing commitments. Each new location requires insurance, security, and technical setup that wasn't included in the original budget planning. The post-production nightmare has been equally expensive. Editors working around the clock to seamlessly integrate new footage with existing episode content requires specialized expertise and overtime compensation. Color matching, audio balancing, and narrative continuity editing for replacement scenes demands the kind of technical precision usually reserved for major film productions. When you're essentially rebuilding episodes that have already aired, every technical detail becomes exponentially more complex and costly. Network executives reportedly authorized these budget increases because the alternative, leaving the original episodes available, was deemed even more financially risky. The cost of potential legal complications, advertiser concerns, and franchise damage apparently justified spending whatever was necessary to control the narrative. But industry sources note that this level of emergency spending creates enormous pressure for Season 20 to deliver exceptional ratings performance to justify the investment. The financial hemorrhaging has also created tension with other TLC productions. When one show suddenly consumes double its allocated budget for damage control, other programs inevitably face resource constraints and scheduling conflicts as equipment, crew members, and post-production facilities get redirected to handle the Sister Wives crisis. For women who've balanced household budgets and negotiated everything from mortgage rates to family schedules, the Sister Wives production crisis offers a masterclass in recognizing manipulation tactics that extend far beyond reality television. The emergency reshoots and missing episodes reveal the sophisticated machinery behind what viewers assume is authentic family documentation, and the patterns are strikingly familiar to anyone who's dealt with financial manipulation or relationship gaslighting. Red flag checklist. See if any ring a bell. First, the selective editing and narrative reconstruction happening with Sister Wives mirrors classic manipulation tactics where inconvenient truths get buried or reframed. When someone pulls evidence off the table and insists on retelling the story their way, you're looking at damage control disguised as clarification. The original episodes allegedly contained unfiltered financial discussions and genuine confrontations, exactly the kind of authentic moments that manipulators work hardest to erase from the record. Second, the pressure on cast members to participate in replacement scenes that contradict their lived experiences reflects a broader pattern of gaslighting that many women recognize from personal relationships. Being told to perform a different version of your own story, especially when it involves financial decisions or family dynamics, is manipulation 101. The fact that Janelle and Mary reportedly refused to play along demonstrates the kind of boundary setting that stops manipulation in its tracks. The production team's insistence on redemption footage and damage control scenes reveals how reality TV manufactures the very narratives that viewers assume developed naturally. Every family meeting, financial discussion, and emotional conversation gets filtered through producer objectives rather than authentic family needs. This level of storyline control transforms what appears to be documentary-style family content into carefully crafted entertainment designed to serve network interests. What makes this particularly relevant for Sister Wives viewers is recognizing these same manipulation patterns in real-life family and financial situations. The techniques used to manufacture reality TV drama, selective information sharing, pressure to accept revised versions of events, financial control disguised as family management, are identical to tactics used in manipulative relationships. The show's behind-the-scenes crisis accidentally exposed the playbook that viewers can now recognize and resist in their own lives. Industry insiders note that most reality TV audiences never see this level of production manipulation because shows that run smoothly never need emergency damage control. The Sister Wives crisis has inadvertently provided viewers with an education in media literacy and manipulation recognition that extends far beyond entertainment consumption. The Sister Wives fan community has transformed into a digital detective agency, and their investigative skills would make professional journalists proud. Reddit discussion threads have become comprehensive research hubs where users are documenting production timeline inconsistencies, cross-referencing social media posts with filming dates, and creating detailed spreadsheets tracking which episodes disappeared when. These aren't casual viewers. These are women who've spent years following family patterns, and they know how to spot when stories don't add up. One particularly savvy Reddit thread has compiled evidence showing that the missing episodes weren't pulled randomly. Users analyzed the episode descriptions, cross-referenced them with cast members' social media activity during filming, and identified a clear pattern. The vanished content all centered around unscripted financial discussions and authentic family confrontations that occurred during specific filming periods. The community essentially reverse-engineered the production timeline to figure out exactly what TLC was trying to hide. Facebook groups dedicated to Sister Wives analysis have turned into information-sharing networks, where fans who managed to record or screenshot content before it disappeared are collaborating to piece together the complete picture. These groups aren't just gossiping, they're conducting genuine investigative work, comparing notes about production inconsistencies, and sharing observations about cast members changing storylines that suggest significant behind-the-scenes interference. The fan investigation has revealed something particularly interesting. Longtime viewers who've followed the family for years immediately recognize the difference between the authentic interactions in the pulled episodes and the more produced content that typically airs. Their ability to spot genuine versus manufactured family dynamics comes from years of watching real family growth and recognizing when conversations feel scripted versus spontaneous. Community theories about the production crisis have proven remarkably accurate. Fan speculation about cast member resistance to reshoots, budget problems, and creative conflicts between directors and network executives has been largely confirmed by subsequent industry leaks. The Sister Wives community's collective intelligence about reality TV production has essentially provided better investigative coverage than traditional entertainment media. Perhaps most significantly, the fan community has started connecting the Sister Wives production crisis to broader patterns across TLC programming. Users are documenting similar content manipulation tactics across other reality shows, building a comprehensive picture of how the network manages storylines and controls cast narratives. The Sister Wives crisis accidentally opened a window into industry-wide practices that the fan community is now tracking and exposing across multiple programs. The Sister Wives production meltdown isn't happening in isolation. It's part of a broader crisis affecting reality television, as audiences become increasingly sophisticated about spotting manufactured drama and demanding authentic content. Industry insiders point to similar behind-the-scenes upheavals across multiple networks, where long-running reality shows are struggling to balance authentic storytelling with network control, and cast members are pushing back against producer manipulation more forcefully than ever before. The pattern repeats across the reality TV landscape. Established shows that built their success on genuine family dynamics or authentic personal stories are hitting breaking points when network executives demand more controlled, legally safer content that contradicts cast members' lived experiences. The same tensions playing out with Sister Wives, directors versus executives, authenticity versus safety, cast autonomy versus producer control, are surfacing across multiple franchises as viewers reject obviously scripted content. What's particularly significant about the Sister Wives crisis is how it exposes the financial calculations behind content manipulation. When networks spend double budgets on damage control rather than addressing the underlying authenticity issues, they're essentially gambling that manufactured drama will continue generating the same audience engagement as genuine family stories. But viewing patterns suggest this calculation is increasingly wrong, especially among women over 45 who represent reality TV's most loyal demographic. The emergency reshoots and missing episodes reveal how reality TV production has evolved into sophisticated narrative management that would be more familiar to scripted television writers than documentary filmmakers. Cast members are expected to perform revised versions of their own lives, authentic conversations get replaced with producer-approved discussions, and genuine family dynamics are reframed to serve network marketing objectives rather than honest storytelling. Other reality TV franchises have attempted similar damage control measures with mixed results. Shows that have successfully navigated cast rebellion and authenticity crises typically did so by giving cast members more creative control and reducing producer interference, not by doubling down on narrative manipulation. The networks that have maintained long-term success with reality programming are the ones that learn to work with authentic family dynamics rather than constantly fighting to control them. The Sister Wives production crisis is becoming a case study for industry professionals about the unsustainability of heavy producer control over cast members who have developed independent voices and public platforms. When your cast members have their own social media followings, business ventures, and authentic relationships with audiences, you can't simply force them back into producer-controlled narratives without significant resistance and public exposure. So here we stand, watching a reality TV empire potentially crumble under the weight of its own manipulation machinery, and the implications extend far beyond Sister Wives or even TLC programming. The production crisis has accidentally created a transparency moment that could reshape how reality television operates, especially for shows featuring mature women who refuse to perform revised versions of their own authentic experiences. The immediate question facing TLC executives is whether to continue the expensive damage control approach or acknowledge that their audience has evolved beyond accepting heavily produced family drama. The financial hemorrhaging from emergency reshoots and missing episodes isn't sustainable for multiple seasons, and the cast rebellion suggests that Janelle, Mary, and potentially other family members have reached their limit with producer control over their personal narratives. Something has to give, and industry observers are watching to see whether networks adapt or double down. For viewers, particularly women who've invested years in following authentic family growth and financial empowerment stories, the production crisis serves as a masterclass in media literacy and manipulation recognition. The skills needed to spot reality TV narrative control, questioning whose interests are served by revised storylines, recognizing when authentic conversations get replaced with producer-approved content, understanding how financial pressure creates compliance, are identical to skills needed for navigating real-life manipulation situations. The Sister Wives community investigation has proven that dedicated viewers can effectively monitor and expose production manipulation when they work collectively. This level of audience sophistication creates accountability pressure that networks haven't previously faced. When your viewers can reverse engineer production timelines, document content changes, and share evidence across social media platforms, maintaining narrative control becomes exponentially more difficult and expensive. Legal experts suggest that the missing episodes and emergency content replacement raise interesting questions about cast member rights, authentic representation in reality television contracts, and viewer disclosure about heavily manipulated content. If the production crisis leads to legal challenges or industry regulation changes, it could establish precedents affecting reality TV production across all networks. The broader entertainment industry is watching the sister wives situation as a test case for whether reality television can successfully evolve toward more authentic content creation or whether the manipulation machinery is too embedded to change. The outcome could influence everything from cast contract negotiations to audience expectations for documentary-style programming. What do you think happens next? Will TLC find a way to satisfy both authentic storytelling and network control, or are we watching the beginning of a reality TV reckoning that forces the entire industry to choose between manipulation and authenticity? And which cast member's boundary setting has you cheering the loudest? Janelle's refusal to pretend financial discussions didn't happen, or Mary's ultimatum about maintaining her authentic voice? Tap like, hit subscribe, keep notifications on for all the latest reality TV industry drama, and a fresh video is already queued up. Something tells me the next round of behind-the-scenes revelations will be even juicier than what we've uncovered today.